Glocker Realty and Insurance.
So the show is going. I'm going to check here and there it is.
Yeah, we're
We
online.
are live.
I also put it over to Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate.
Okay.
And there is a way that we can start sending this out to our personal channels, but we're going to have to upgrade our subscription.
And we will do that in the new year, right?
In the new year.
Yes.
And we'll talk to Matt Kennedy about that as well. We might
The
need
latest
some
project.
Yeah, we might need some financial assistance.
I was going to ask Matt Kennedy for maybe some, like a new car or something this year. I'm thinking bigger.
Company cars.
Yeah.
Company car.
Get them
Like
wrapped, you know.
Yeah.
Who had
I
the
wouldn't mind
cars
an Audi.
before? Didn't Century 21, somehow I remember, back when we were younger, when we were kids, seeing in advertisements or in movies, Century 21.
I think they were, yeah. They had would have it on the door.
Yes.
Yes, right. The gold jacket.
The gold jacket.
Yep.
And a Century 21, Ford Pinto or something.
Nothing says gold jacket like a Ford Pinto.
So there's that. So we do have some people watching. The one thing I am going to do is jump over here to my other headset, man, and see what it sounds like on the stream.
Sounds good, Matt.
Why don't you tell everybody what's going on while I'm doing that? Because I'm not going to be able to talk and do the same thing, Jeff.
All right. Since Matt can't do two things at once. So we're here at Cast At Glocker today. It's a live show. So we would love your comments. Actually, we have a little bit of a gift for the right person who makes a comment today. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it's Matt Green. He's working on the sound and visual right now. And I am Jeff Frederick. We are realtors at Glocker Realty. And today we have our broker, Matt Kennedy, in today.
Hi.
He has a special message for the new year, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to him and find out a little bit about Glocker. Since
Good.
we are the Cast at Glocker,
Yeah.
we should know a little bit about Glocker, right?
That's great. Good way to end the year.
That's
Start
right.
a new year. Right.
So Matt, what? Tell us a little bit about Glocker Realty and how it got its start.
Well,
and how you became part of it.
So I was adding that up today, and this is finishing. 2020 is finishing my 23rd year in real estate, and all 23 years have been spent here at Glocker.
Yeah.
So when I went to get my license, I was in property management at the time, taking care of apartments. Didn't have a real estate license, and decided wanted to sell real estate. Got my license, and a friend of mine actually knew Carol Slater that was here and said, talk to Carol and learn a little bit about Glocker. I came in and thought, yeah, this looks like a good place, and that's where hung my license. So yeah, 23rd year here. And I guess, so Martin Slater, who wasn't able to make it tonight, is my partner, and he has been here longer than I. And sometime around...
Which his mom is Carol Slater.
Carol
which
Slater,
got
correct.
you into the
Right,
business.
right. So somewhere around 2010, we started talking about purchasing the company, and we kind of made that transition over a few years, and Martin and I have been owners, partners in the business since 2013. And here we are today.
So you hung your license here 23 years ago. What kept you here? Because I know that there's a lot of real estate agents that go from broker to broker,
Right.
looking for the bigger and better thing.
I think a big part of it was, it's always been a smaller office, more intimate office, I should say. You got to know the agents that were here, good relationship with the broker. Just, it was a good environment.
Right.
And I think for myself, part of it was, at the time we had 3 offices, and Martin was kind of taking care of the one office in North Coventry, and I kind of stepped into the role of taking care of the office here. So I think there was some motivation there to stay here, had a connection to the company
Right.
from an early on stage. And I think Martin and I both kind of saw our future as being in kind of a managerial role, broker role, and wanting to help agents and kind of be on that side of it. So it would just, the pieces over time just kind of fell into place to do that here, as opposed to, you know, just being strictly an independent agent that's just looking for, you know, where else can I go, who's paying the best, who has the best features, benefits, whatever. I think early on we kind of laid our roots here, Martin and I, and it kind of just fell into place. We both of us kind of hit at the same time as to when we wanted to do that, and it was a good partnership for us. You know, I bring some things to the table. Martin brings other things to the table. We're very different people, so that's always good in a partnership.
It is,
you know?
yeah.
So,
and I definitely see that working for both of you.
Right.
But what brought you and Martin together as partners into buying this business?
I remember having the conversation with Martin. He had been here a while, and he had started really thinking about wanting to purchase the company. And I remember him talking to me about it and just saying, you know, I think we'd be more successful if we did it together. Are you interested in looking at this long term? And that's kind of where the conversation went. So we kind of had that thought from an early on stage, like, you know, we could see ourselves working together in this. And neither of us, I think, had an interest in going out on our own and starting a real estate company.
Right.
You know,
So Carl Glocker, who built the business, did he ever come to you and Martin and say, hey,
yeah,
are you guys interested in
no, absolutely.
taking over?
That was a big key component of it. You know, I think Carl had looked at it from an early on stage of kind of, you know, what happens as I get older, what responsibilities do I want? How do I kind of transition out of the business? So that's exactly what was thought about, you know, a good 8-10 years prior to Carl leaving. You know,
right.
that was kind of part of the plan. In fact, we when we kind of laid that groundwork, Doug Kutz, who you knew, you know, was a part of that because Doug was on the insurance side,
right?
And he was a part of that plan as well. And unfortunately, Doug got sick and passed away in 2015. So that changed the dynamic a little bit again,
right?
But we, you know, that was a big part of it. It was us looking at the future, and I think Carl looking at his future, and it just kind of worked for all parties. We had actually started really putting those pieces together earlier on, but then 2008 hit, and it kind of put everything on hold. It was more just about surviving that you know, that decline in the real estate market at that point. And when things recovered, then we were able to take the next step
and for
forward.
anybody that doesn't know, which only the younger audience might not know, 2008 was the big crash.
Yeah.
The market crashed, the real estate crashed, basically.
Yeah, big
started
decline in values.
Slight depression.
Right.
Yes, it was.
It was tough for real estate then. It was a tough time. I mean,
that's when I started.
When you started, right? So
I'm the smart one that starts during a.
Well, you learn good habits right from the beginning. You know, that's a big piece of that.
Well, that's one of the things. Like when I first came here, Jeff? How long have you been doing?
Since 2009, I was here.
Okay,
so 11 years.
11
12,
years,
almost 12. Yeah.
I'm going on. May will be 6 for me. And when I came, the Great Recession was just ending.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We were just starting to come out of that. And I remember talking to Jerry Delana, who was an agent here before he retired. And Jerry liked me because Jerry was a Marine. I'm an ex-cop. So we kind of had that simpatico going on, that military, paramilitary thing going on. And I remember Jerry saying to me, he's like, some people are going to tell you that you joined real estate at the worst time you possibly could. He said, but in my opinion, you did it the best. Because if you can make it now and learn how to do it now, you'll be ahead of the curve.
Right.
He said, because you're going to see as soon as things picks up, there are going to be a whole lot of people either coming in or jumping back in trying to make some money. And then when things get tough again, they'll all fall off. He's like, if you can learn it when it's hard, when it's easy, it'll be easy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
you
true.
pick up those good habits. You know, it's I mean, you know, it's a business that it's self-discipline. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to get up, and you're not coming in and punching a clock, or you know, no one's expecting
it's
you to
all-
be at the
it's all
office
you.
at the time at the a certain time. So yeah, when it is harder and you know you got to really hustle, you do.
Yeah.
You really do learn it in the right way.
No, I think for me, I mean, I came from a paramilitary background, this police background. So everything was regiment,
Yeah.
policy driven.
And you can see that in the way
procedure-driven.
you do your job here.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My desk can be a lot more messy. I do appreciate that. But there was always a policy, a procedure. There was
Right.
an effort that you had to put in every day and make sure your I's were dotted, your T's were crossed, your paperwork was filed properly. all
Which
of
is
that
extremely important in real estate.
stuff. Super important.
Yeah.
Right.
And for
Right.
those who don't do those things, you're
gets
going to
rough.
get into trouble of some sort or
Yeah,
another.
one way or another.
Yeah. Or your clients, which is even worse. You know.
Yeah, so I mean, I was already in the habit of doing all those things, so it just became part of that learning curve.
Right.
Like when you guys were talking about Carol. Carol taught me the paperwork and
taught
all
me.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Taught Jeff.
We had Carol's College of Knowledge, we would call it. So you went through your course with Carol, and she'd teach you how to do an agreement, do a listing, start to finish.
Because
you know, all
because,
the
because
paperwork.
what some people don't know is that the schooling that you do does not teach you that stuff
No,
at all.
no, it's
No.
more regulations and the law of
Mm-hmm.
being a realtor. But yeah, they're not teaching you prospecting, and they're not teaching you too much.
They're not teaching how to be a real estate agent.
Yeah, no, they leave
Just
that up
what
to the,
not to do.
I don't
Basically.
I don't even remember going in. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, going into the agreement of a sale and the supporting paperwork.
You don't.
There's
No,
none. There's
they
none
don't.
of that.
No,
So you have to learn that once you come in.
Yeah.
right.
And that's where sitting down with Carol and all that stuff was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to come into play with our conversation shortly. But I mean, if you go to a certain, if you do become a real estate agent and you look for that broker, a lot of brokers don't teach you that stuff. They just say, "Here's your desk,
Right.
go at it," and then
Sell something.
Yeah. And then of course, and then unfortunately, I know you've been down this road, and then I've been down this road, and I'm sure you've been down this road. We have to pick up those pieces when that agent tries to make a deal and doesn't know what he or she is doing.
Doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of be the babysitter for the deal.
I don't want to. I don't really want to beat up agents. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to beat up agents. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
But certainly, I've had agents come to me and say, like, I'm new. This is my first deal.
Yeah.
This is my
Which is
second
okay.
deal. This is
That's
my
the
third.
smartest
I
thing to say.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do
Right.
appreciate that. And sometimes they'll say, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I feel bad for those folks. Because really, if they had to say something to somebody else who might be a little unscrupulous, they could be taken advantage of.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
I almost feel like it's better that they're saying it to somebody
you,
like me
right.
or you or Matt or somebody here, because we don't operate like that.
We don't.
We do the right thing.
Yes.
But I would never want to have to go into this kind of business and tell my counterpart across the table from me, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Right.
And that was one of the great things about coming here, because I always thought that I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
I was
You don't. How
learning.
can
And
you
you're
know what
not.
you're
It
doing when
takes-
you
But we had
start?
people.
Yeah.
There's somebody behind you. You can turn around and say, "Hey,
What am I?
what
should I do?
What should I do? What's going on with this? What does this mean?" Absolutely, and it is a business that is just, it's layers and layers of experience. I mean, I said 23 years, and Martin's been doing it, I think, going close to 30 years, and there are deals often that I'm picking up the phone, Martin. Let me run this past you.
Right.
Let's talk this through. How would you handle this situation? So it's
Right.
everybody here, and having those people around you to do that, because you can feel like you're underwater if you don't have anyone and you're asking the other agent in the deal how to solve a problem. So it's like you said, that groundwork is good. Having that.
One of the things that I appreciated was the fact that I could come in here, I could come up, sit at my desk. I have my own desk. I don't have to share. Yeah, I don't have to share a desk with anybody. I'm thinking I do have a desk mate who never comes into
Right.
the office, but that's a whole nother conversation. So I have my own desk. I have my own workspace. I can come up here and do what I need to do. But by the same token, just like you're saying, if something comes up, either you're here, Matt's here, Carol spends a lot of time in the office. Before Carl retired, Carl was on a regular office schedule.
Right.
I mean, that man was putting 30, 40 hours a week into office time.
Right.
So there was always somebody around with a lot of experience that you could come and ask a question.
Sure.
I remember calling you on the phone
Sure.
a couple of times
Right.
and working through stuff so that I could get it straight and get it together. And that's one of the things that I appreciate working about here at Glocker's, because there's always somebody around who can help you out.
Right.
Because, and I think you were kind of alluding to this earlier, is no two deals are the same.
No.
No. There's always something you're learning, something new. So
Yeah.
Every deal, you're going to take away something from it. Either, hey, I could do that a little better next time, or if that phone conversation comes up or that situation comes up, this is how I'd handle it again.
Right.
Yeah, you're learning every deal.
Every
And
deal.
if you're not learning,
Yeah.
then something's going wrong.
Yeah, you're not paying attention. Then,
Yeah, right.
I would say this too is that there's even with all the support, with all the support and everything else, and I think we just hit on this. You don't know what you don't know, but you have to have that desire, that curiosity in your job, in your career, in your profession, because you are going to have to go out and answer your own questions.
Sure.
Right.
And learn the processes and learn how different parts of the real estate industry work.
Yep.
I remember when I first got hired, I went down to Heartland Abstract. Andrew Manastra, at the time, Janine Bergerman was working there.
Yep.
And
Right.
she's going to be mad.
Well, Bonnie's.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
How could I forget Bonnie? Good old Bonnie. But I would go down there and I would literally sit in their office and I'd be like, I need to understand title.
Right.
And just having that relationship, having that ability to go down there and sit with them and go, all right, I want to learn. Do I have to know every bit of the title process in order to be a real estate agent? No. But I was curious.
Right.
I certainly could see how what they were doing was impacting my job, and I wanted to know.
Right.
Same thing with mortgages, right?
Right.
I met Matt Sullivan, met
yeah.
Jerry Barr.
Right.
Guys, I mean, between the two of them, you're probably talking about 40, 50 years of experience.
Right. Yeah.
You sit down with those guys. You go out to lunch with them. You sit down with them. Teach me about mortgages.
Right.
I want to know about mortgages.
Right. And it as you said, you're doing it because you want that experience, and obviously you want that knowledge, but ultimately, we are in a business that we are brokers. We represent somebody's interest in them selling a property. It's their property. They're not it's not on consignment. They're the ones that are selling it. We're there to be their advisor and represent them. And I think, you want to do a good job because it's a big deal selling somebody's house.
Right.
You don't want to look inept, and you want to obviously get them the best deal that they can get. That's what's representing them means.
Sure.
So I think doing those steps and learning that, it's really important. And again, if circling back to what we were saying when you started in a harder time, if this is a career for you, if this is something you're looking at long term, and doesn't mean you're going to sell $1 million a year in real estate or, one deal a year. It can still be a career for you. But if it is, then you want to learn from every deal. You want to learn that because you want to do a good job for your client.
Yeah.
And that breeds its own. That's a good way to prospect, right? I mean, you get how many deals from past clients. They think Jeff did a great job, and now they're going to say, hey, yeah, use him. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the best feeling when you get a call because someone said, hey, you did a great job. Hey, that's the best. That's
yeah. You really, that's important, and it is a big, this is a big deal. There's a lot of stress on sellers and buyers. It's a big purchase. There's a lot of pieces to it. I mean, it's one of the few purchases that, you're actually hiring somebody to help you.
Yeah.
We don't hire someone to go buy a car and help them with that or, go buy a TV. But, with this, it's complicated, and you need that.
And you only do it once, twice. I mean, some people
Yeah,
three.
some people do it more, but no.
But most people do it once, twice, maybe three times in their lifetime.
Yeah. Right.
So
exactly.
And things change. I mean, I know since I've been here in 2009, things have changed dramatically in this business.
Right.
I mean, flipped upside down dramatically.
Yeah, the contracts change, and it's funny. Like even some of it's circular. Like what we did in the beginning, and then it changes, and it comes back. So.
Everything was on paper. Now, now it can all be done over the
DocuSign and
over
electronically.
Emails and electronically. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot to keep up with that.
Matt, since you're really good at commercials, I think this is a good time we should
do the commercial.
Yeah.
All right, we do have some people watching, and also I want to get into this too. Jennifer Seville, who's our real estate assistant, and she's also the producer.
She's the producer, yeah.
Helped us for at least an hour today get our sound right.
Yeah,
Thank
she did.
You. She's saying she loves being in the office sometimes and watching as some of the agents work together and collaborate on solutions with things. Having worked in other real estate companies in the past, I can see the support and teamwork that comes with this company for sure.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
She wanted to know what her beer choices were. I put them in the comments. I'm having a perpetual IPA from Trogs.
Troganator tonight.
You're having a Trogan? Oh, that's right. I thought that I forgot about that. And then you're having a Two
Roads Holiday Ale.
I thought that's what Matt had too. So my comments are wrong.
Well, all right.
Oh well, we got it straightened
figured
out
out.
on
Yeah.
the air.
No, there you go.
That's where it's important.
So, and we gotta say, I mean, you can't see it. You have a lighter glass here. Put that up there. We have Glocker pint glasses now, which was extremely necessary, and it was a long time coming, Matt, I think. But finally, we have them, and that is important.
We have Glocker wine glasses too,
We do.
and I believe we got some Rocks glasses.
I think there were. Yep.
We got some Rocks glasses
All right, so
for
we
our
can have
friends
our-
that want to come in and drink some whiskey.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whiskey drinkers. Yeah, right.
Have some highballs, right?
A few fingers.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue. If you want to get on the show, ask us. Email Jen at Glocker.com. Jen at Glocker.com.
That's easy.
Easy
I mean, does it get any
Can't
easier?
get easier than that.
Tell Jen you want to be on the show. We'll get you on. We'll talk about your business, your nonprofit, or how you are involved in the community. We'll get you on. Jen at Glocker.
We are booked for January at this point.
Yeah, we're
and
booking
we have
into
really
February.
A bunch of cool shows coming up in January.
We're going to be going on location.
On location, yeah.
Right.
I'm excited for the on location.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of work to do to get a longer Ethernet cord.
Well, you got 1 week to do it because next week we're going on location. We're
All
going
right.
to Ridgewood
Oh, at the winery.
yeah.
You and I have to take a drive up there
Yep.
and talk to those folks so we can get the lay of the land and how we're going to set up
And
the
we
camera
might have to
and
do a
all that
wine
stuff.
tasting while we're there just
I would imagine.
just so we know what we're talking
seems-
about.
You don't want to walk
That makes-
in blind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
right.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So here's what's going on, folks. We do have a little bit of a contest because on all of these live casts, and our show, I have another show called Porchcast Pottstown. I watch other podcasts. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. Not that he needs any help.
He doesn't need any help, but that's
But there's
all right.
plenty of podcasts. If you want to help the podcast and the live stream, the best way to do that is like, comment, and share, right? Set up a watch party on Facebook. That helps get the word out. It helps spreads our message, and it makes it worthwhile for us, the more people that are watching, because it really does take a lot of work. I mean, hours between you,
It does. It
Jeff,
takes a lot of work.
myself, Jen. In the course of a week, we can put 7-8 hours of work into each one of these episodes.
Yeah, this is 1 hour episode. You think, oh, easy peasy, go on. They just start talking.
It's just
Believe
for
it or
me,
not,
just for
there's
me,
actually prep involved.
and there's post production.
And yes, there is.
Just for me alone, each hour of air time equals 4 hours of off air time.
Okay.
That's
Especially
about
when
what
you
it's
don't know
working
there's a settlement in here.
Yeah.
I heard that earlier.
Yeah, so today there was a settlement, and I had all the gear set up in here, and I broke it all down and put it away for the settlement.
So we
anyway-
get a studio built for you.
Yeah,
Now, you know, right?
That's the next. After
We'll
the
work
cars, we'll get
Maybe we
studio.
just need to buy a house and turn the whole house into a
That's
There we
studio.
go.
We could do porch cast
Cast.
out on the porch.
Right.
The Cast At Glocker
Glocker.
inside.
Right.
We'll wire the whole
Whole
place
thing.
up.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple of rooms. We can do some DIY
Right.
stuff. Tell
Right.
people how to
Have a
paint.
clinic.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
clinic. Yeah. Let's
think-
do it. It's in the budget.
All
right?
right. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Right.
It's all right. Here's what's going on, man. If you share this show that you are watching, your name goes into a raffle for $25.
No, I think they have to comment. Am I wrong?
No, it's both.
Oh, it's both?
If you share it, you get entered.
Okay.
If you comment, you get entered.
So either one.
Either
double your
one
chances.
or both
Okay.
will get you an entry.
Okay.
So if you want to get 2 entries, share it and then comment on it. That would get you 2 entries to win the $25 gift card
Two.
from Gramia's.
Yeah. And you know what they have at Gramia's?
Baked oatmeal.
Baked oatmeal.
Everybody's
which
talking about
Everybody
that.
knows about baked oatmeal. I mean,
Jill Diffenderfer is constantly
it's all
on
she
there.
can talk about.
And like now, Gramia's like tags Jill when they're talking about, and then there's these whole chains on Facebook of Jill and Gramia's talking about baked oatmeal. Share the show, comment on the show, get entered into the raffle for a $25 gift certificate.
And you know, it's pretty easy
That's
just to
two
make a
Gramia's.
comment on the show. That's a pretty
You can do it.
to get a $25
Yeah,
gift
right.
certificate
Yeah,
to a
that-
yummy restaurant.
Right. You don't
How
have to
do
write
I
a book.
share?
Yeah.
If you go down to the section where you're making the comments, also where you liked it, it'll say like, comment, share along the bottom of the screen. Hit the share button. It's going to ask you to share it to your page. You can share it to your page. You can share it to a group that you're a member of. You can share it as a message to somebody on Facebook
Yeah.
Messenger. Mom, when I get home, I'll show you how to share.
Yep.
Now,
Sharing's
can you
caring.
do any of that on YouTube? Can you comment?
Yes,
on
you
YouTube?
can. You can comment on YouTube. You can like on YouTube.
Okay.
And we will follow those as
and
well
you can,
to make
you
sure.
can share it on YouTube
get
as
entered.
well. You can get a link that you could then post
to
someplace
somebody.
else.
Gotcha.
Yep, send someplace else.
Okay.
So we'll also be taking a look at YouTube too. And anybody that shared it or commented on it on YouTube, we'll get with you.
So they're not
and
left
we'll
out.
put you in your thing,
Right.
right? We'll put you in the raffle.
Yep.
That's great.
Support
Pretty easy.
local.
yeah.
Pretty easy.
A click of a button.
Yeah.
Type on your.
All you have to do is say hi.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Hey,
Yeah.
what's up?
You can just say sup if you want to.
Nice
S-U-P.
beard. Now, and this is another good segue.
Yes.
And then maybe we should do Ask a Realtor,
Well, yeah, maybe. Yep.
or do you want? How about
Let's
this?
do Ask a Realtor.
Let's do Ask a Realtor.
Yeah.
And then when Ask a Realtor is over,
Yep.
Matt can do his pitch because we're looking for more agents.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You're
That's kind of
here-
where we were. Right.
You're
That's
here for
where
a
we're
reason.
going.
Yeah, we've got room to grow, and it's I think a good environment for agents,
Which we were just discussing.
yeah, and as we kind of talked about a little how to get started and what it's like here. Ultimately, though, yeah, we're interested in hiring agents. We're looking for agents that are either in the business or even the right people that are new to it, and taking that time to train them. We talked about Carroll's College of Knowledge. It has adapted over the years and to some of the technology we're using today, but we still sit down with agents and run them through kind of A to Z, how to do a transaction, from the listing side, on the sales side. So again, we've got that training involved, but yeah, ultimately we're interested in getting more agents to come to Glocker.
And obviously, Matt's been here for 6 years. I've been here for 11 years, and we've been here at this one broker for our whole time for that reason.
Right.
We both
I
only worked at
appreciate
Glocker,
that.
and I
No, I mean the last thing I'll say, and Matt and I were talking about this earlier before the show, when I was setting up for the second time.
yeah.
There's a lot of other real estate agents out there now, and now they have these kind of like boutique agencies, EXP, Tesla, Realty Mark, some of these places where they're saying we're going to give agents 100% commission, right? Right off the bat, we're giving you 100% commission. You just have to pay a transaction fee, and you're going to walk home with all of your commission.
Right.
That's all fine and good. And if that works for a certain person or a certain agent, that's fine.
Yeah.
But what they're not telling you in the fine print is they don't have a $3,000 camera system
Right.
where you can take your own pictures. They don't have a real estate assistant, a licensed real estate assistant in the office who's going to help you manage your transactions.
And notary.
And a notary. And no desk fees. And no print fees. And Matt's going to help you put a letter in the mail or a postcard in the mail.
Not one, many.
Many.
Yeah.
Right.
Thousands.
Yeah.
I've sent
Right.
out
Yeah.
2,500.
Yeah, we do our cost sharing on those mailers, and it's great. It's great for the agent. It's great for us. I mean, we're invested in your success. I mean that's how this works. So
Right.
yeah.
So my point is, when I sat down and put it on a spreadsheet and said, yes, I have to pay a commission split to Glocker.
When you make money.
When I make
Right.
money, Glocker makes money.
Right.
Right. It's actually, I get more for the money I pay here at Glocker if I went to 100% commission brokerage, because
Right.
I have to pay
for
for
everything.
every single thing
Everything.
at the 100% commission brokerage. That's the difference. I make more money. I make more money here even though I'm paying a commission split.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
There's
no,
more support.
There's more support. There's no limit on marketing a home. And could you imagine if you were paying to market a house? You're paying Zillow. You're paying advertising. You're paying all those fees that it costs to market a property.
right.
Well, and the
On each
photography
property.
has gotten
Photography,
really big, the
yeah.
photography, and we've got a great photographer.
We got
and
the
it's
best
great.
photographer.
Yeah, he does an awesome job, and it's again, it's self-serving in that it makes what we do look good, and that hopefully translates to the next seller who says, "Hey, you guys do a good job. I'm going to hire you." That's
Right.
But yeah, you would try to keep that quality level up there, and support the agents with that. And it for Martin and I mean, it's a little bit of, I said to Matt earlier, it's a little philosophy driven that, it's kind of how we were taught to have that support in the office. And I know we were using that word a lot, but it really is important in this business because, again, agents are so independent. If you're working in a big office or an office with nobody around, it's not just when things are you're in trouble or you need help. But I think Jen's comment, you come in, we all do it. You come
Just
in and you
bounce
want
stuff off each
Yeah,
other.
you're bouncing off ideas and talking about your day and what's going on. And sometimes it's just therapeutic, to kind of say I'm not alone in this.
Right.
I've got other people that understand what I'm going through.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important. It keeps you motivated.
And I've never seen anybody, and all the questions that have been asked to Matt throughout the years, because there's many agents that work here, and they're all coming to Matt or Martin, and I never saw him frustrated say, "Oh, another question." He's always happy to answer.
No, I think
Doors
that's
always
right
open.
too.
Doors always
and
open.
the fact that they're here, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're right
the fact
here
that
on
they're
site.
here, they're on site, they have a schedule, they're in and out. That can't be beat. Listen, I'll say this, and then we'll get into Ask the Realtor because
You
it's
you
up
said
on-
that
it's
last
up on
time. You
the
said that was
screen.
the last thing you were going to say.
Well, there's never that.
That's good.
I mean,
and that's,
on this,
that's what I love about
I mean,
you.
on this particular topic,
Okay, go ahead.
Listen. I have buyer leads that come to me from time to time that I honestly do not have the time to work. Good or bad, I don't know what that says about me, but I don't have the time. If we had a new young agent or new starting out agent, I'm telling you, I can give you some work.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I
There
can
you
give
go.
you some work. Learn.
And that's
Come
good.
and learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need it. So anyway, let's get into Ask a Realtor, right?
That
So here
brings
is the
us-
question. Now,
Do you have the question?
there's also incentive for Ask the Realtor. If you see that Ask the Realtor, Jen usually posts that up at Glocker Realty and Insurance on Tuesday morning. I share it out onto my Facebook page too. I think Jeff does. If you see that Ask a Realtor, put a question in there.
Right.
It can be any question related to real estate, being a real estate agent, whatever you want to know.
Yeah.
We'll try to help you out.
Anything. Right.
Anything.
We'll track it down. We'll get you.
We'll
an
figure
answer.
it out.
Right.
So far, we've been able to answer all the questions in house. I don't think we've had to go outside for
I
an
haven't-
expert yet. Yeah,
Haven't
To an
dialed up a
expert.
lawyer yet to say how do you do that.
It's
but
coming.
It will. It will. I'm sure.
Which we
And
strive.
we can handle that.
We
We can
strive for
handle
a
that.
question like that.
Yeah,
can
we've
handle
got
that.
resources. Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah.
We work. Well, that's another thing. We work with multiple attorneys
Yeah,
here
we
in
do.
this
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
I have never had to pay for legal advice.
No,
We've always had somebody that we have a business relationship with
Yeah.
that's willing.
Now we've always had good relationships with a lot of attorneys and have maintained those and it's nice. I mean we know we can do a good job for them when they bring us business.
Yes.
Again, we do a good job for their clients and that translates. And when we do need to refer somebody or legal advice, we put them off to one of these attorneys so they get business from us. But yes, we can pick up the phone and talk to one of them, ask a question, get something figured out, and it beats guessing at what's the right thing to do. So
or dropping a retainer just to
Yeah.
just to have somebody to ask those questions.
Right.
Anyway, here we go. If your question on Ask a Realtor is picked and we answer it on the air, you get a $10 Wawa gift card.
Which I think anybody could use.
Anybody could use that.
You go
Absolutely.
Hoagie Fest time. You could go coffee.
Yep.
Anything. Pretzels. Lottery
$10, ask a question. $25, like or share.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
I'm going to start watching this show.
Yeah, Jeff's not showing up next week.
Yeah, I'm just going to start trying to rake in the
There's $35 on the
I'm
table.
thinking of a realtor question right
The
now.
episode, $35 on the table.
Okay, so the question comes from Jamie Parsons. Okay, she asks, what happens if something breaks or happens after I buy a house, the situation wasn't disclosed in the seller's disclosure. A seller's disclosure is something that a document that a seller fills out that is a question or answer document that states, whether they have any problems with the house, whether, what kind of systems they have in the house, all sorts of question and answers. And what she's asking is, they buy the house, something breaks and was not disclosed. Matt, since you are my broker, I'm going to pass this to you.
Well, it is a tricky question because there's so many factors that come into play. So let's start on the disclosure side. Pennsylvania law says that, yes, a seller selling a residential property is required to disclose what they know about the property or defects with the property. We as realtors use the disclosure form because it's pretty extensive and it protects the seller to make sure they're adhering to the law. So
Right.
as long as they're answering it honestly, they fill that form out, they fulfill their obligation, what they need, as far as the Pennsylvania disclosure law. The question at hand, when something goes wrong with a property after the settlement, you buy the property in its current condition. So it's as is. It's as it sits that day. And the seller doesn't guarantee that things are going to stay that way even a minute after you sign the papers.
Right.
So there's can talk about home warranties and things like that, but this is about the seller guaranteeing the condition of the home, and they don't do that. You buy it the way it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, homes are complex. There's a lot of systems that things wear out. There's life expectancies. There's maintenance involved. There's environmental conditions. This summer we had a rainstorm. We had 8 inches of rain, unprecedented. Some places are going to get water in their basement that never had it
Right.
before.
Right.
Things like that. So on one hand, you've got a house, buyer buys a house and something breaks. If it is just something that broke and it really can't be said that it was a chronic issue that the seller was aware of, unfortunately, the buyer, it's their house now. They're responsible
Right.
for that item. Now, the other side, going back to disclosure, if it is truly something the seller neglected to disclose, there's an issue there, and there could be a legal issue there. So if the best example of that is go back to water in the basement. Someone says, "Oh, I never get a drop of water in my basement ever," and a day after we get a rainstorm, the buyer gets a foot of water, and the neighbor says, "Oh, that guy was out there every time it rained, pumping
that
the
water."
basement out." Well, yeah, okay. We clearly the seller was misleading the buyer. If it's a bigger issue, they may need to seek legal advice.
Is that your recommendation for it? So if that situation did happen, what should be the first step that they should take?
I think that what I've always been taught and what we try to do here is the first thing is communication. That buyer calls their buyer agent and says, "Hey, I got a problem. I think this was a problem before. I think the seller knew about it." First thing that buyer agent should be doing is going out and seeing the person. What's the problem? Show me what's going on. Picking up the phone, talking to their broker, talk to the other agent. Say, "Hey, we got a problem here, and let's try to rectify this before we need to get a lawsuit involved."
Yeah.
Talk to the seller. If we're on the listing side and we think it was our seller that misled somebody, we're going to go out, get in the car, and go talk to them. And I think communication clearly 100% of the time solves so many of these problems. Now, doesn't mean everyone's going to be happy with the resolution.
Right, sure.
And doesn't mean that,
Right. There could still be problems.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it is better to start with. The first thing they need to do is talk to their agent. We go back to representation.
Yeah.
It doesn't just end at the sale. If they've got a problem with that house, I think we've got an obligation to communicate with our client and go see what their problem is.
Yeah.
You start dodging those calls and you don't call them back for a week, that makes things a lot worse.
No, it's better just to tackle it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
It's
I'm
better
glad
just
that
to tackle
I wanted to hear him say that because for people that are watching, I wanted them to understand. Don't start going crazy and calling your lawyer and everything. Take the easy steps first.
Well, I've had that call many times, and I've gone out, and let's say it's my buyer. I go out and I see what the problem is, and yes, we represent him. Doesn't mean I just give them bad advice.
Right.
Sometimes the answer is, "Hey, this really is terrible that this thing happened. That this roof is leaking or that heater broke. But it wasn't an issue that it clearly wasn't an issue that the seller deceived you on.
Yeah.
So as hard as that is to swallow, it's not their fault.
Right.
Welcome to the joys of homeownership.
Right.
It
Exactly.
is.
Sometimes
And
it's just
sometimes
that.
that's the hard answer. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things that you could do to try to mitigate that, right? I mean, the first thing is we always recommend people do a home inspection.
That's right.
Even in this hot market, there's ways you can still do a home inspection to satisfy your due diligence requirements without turning off a potential seller, right?
Right.
You can say, I'm just going to do the home inspection for my own knowledge. You can limit the amount of money that you're going to ask
Right.
for, or the number of repairs,
Or the
There's
scope
a-
of the inspection.
the scope of the inspection, things of that nature.
Right.
But first, the first way to avoid this happening is to have a home inspection,
Right. Right.
or take somebody with you when you're going on those showings that knows
has knowledge.
houses,
Yeah.
has knowledge of houses, so you can take a good deep look at what's going on. That's the
Yeah.
first way.
Right.
And then maybe the second way is negotiate a home warranty, or buy yourself a home warranty
For protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for that extra level of protection.
Yeah, just to cover that you don't get hit with a big bill in that first year, just
Right.
to soften the blow if something happens.
It could just be a matter of bad timing. Yeah,
And it
we
often
just
is.
bought the house 2 weeks ago, and the hot water heater blew up.
Right.
Yeah.
It happens.
Hot water heater is going to be covered on your home warranty, right?
Right.
Yep.
You'll have a way to get that addressed, so that maybe you're only coming out of pocket the cost of a deductible.
Right.
The one home warranty we company work with, it's like a $100 deductible.
I think
or
75 on it.
yeah, on some of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's some ways
there are
around that.
there are ways, and again, I mean, it is tough. It is a little bit of an unbalanced market right now. You know, it's a seller's market. Buyers are kind of giving up some things that they normally would negotiate for to get the house, but you have to be careful with that. And we talked about that before, about the home warranty and limiting the scope of the inspection. But just realize that reading that disclosure, it's not a guarantee. Seller can write down there, hey, I replaced the roof 5 years ago. And you think, great, I got a 5-year-old roof, I'm good for 20, 30 years. Doesn't mean that in 2 weeks a windstorm comes through and you get a
Blows
roof
some
leak.
shingles off, right?
Damages
You know,
the roof.
Yeah, so it's tricky.
Listen, I'll tell you a story, and there's two of them that we worked with on two different properties that I had. One that I took care of myself, and then one you and I just dealt with recently. We had a house that some of my rehabbers did over in Stowe. A few months after the settlement, we got a call from the buyer saying the roof's leaking.
Right.
All right. Well, my sellers, excuse me, as part of the rehab, did do some roof work. So they sent their person over there and inspected the roof. The roof leak didn't have anything to do with the work that was done during the rehab. It was truly a brand new problem. Now, because my sellers Find Solutions Properties, because they're decent people and their guy was already over there and it was only like $100 repair or something,
fix it.
they just fixed it.
Yeah.
They just took
Right.
care of it. But it was a new problem. Same thing on Hanover Street. They did another one on Hanover Street. Put a whole new roof on. The buyer calls us, it's leaking. Something's going wrong. Well, it's a new roof. So we put the guy in touch with the contractor who installed the roof. It's a new roof.
Yeah.
The workmanship's under warranty. So that's how those
That's
two
an easy-
situations
easy
were
fix, yeah.
resolved.
Right.
I'll give you another one. And I don't want to give. I'll just say this.
Yeah.
We had one where there was a known water problem in the basement.
Yeah.
That water problem was disclosed.
Okay.
There was steps taken to fix the water problem.
But no guarantee that it was fixed.
No.
Yeah.
And the buyer came in and made modifications that undid the work to protect
right.
the water problem.
Okay.
If you undo something
Yeah,
that's
you're-
there to fix the problem,
Right.
Yeah.
that's not the seller's fault.
That's not the
The
seller's
seller did what they had to do to fix that problem.
Right.
If you undo the seller's work, that's on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think with disclosures, a big piece of it is on the seller side, and we've all had that conversation sitting there with a seller. You give them the form, you go through it. The seller, my pitch to the seller is this form is protecting you as much as, helping the buyer out, letting
Right,
them know
and I
what's
always tell
wrong.
the seller that for
This is
sure,
your
yeah.
insurance policy, because I have had that phone call where someone buys a house and there's a problem. You pull out the seller disclosure and say, yeah, right here, they disclosed that.
Right.
And you signed it.
Right.
If you didn't understand it or read it correctly, or again, if we're not representing the buyer, it's
Yeah.
that's out of our hands. But it is a protection for that seller. And sellers, the more detailed they can be, the clearer they can be about things and more accurate, the better they are. And especially on the big things. We talk about the water in the basement. That's such a big one. I've seen people say, "Oh, it gets damp," and really they get 6 inches of water. Like, be accurate.
Right,
Be honest about it.
Well, I think on the seller side too is you can work with your agent. If I'm selling a house for somebody, one of the first things I do is tell them, look, I'm going to give you this seller's property disclosure form. You need to fill it out. You know this house better than I do. But if there's some question that you have, or you want the best way to answer this question, give me a call. I'm here to help you out on this. If you have a question, you don't understand it, give me a call. If you need me to come out and look at something and say, here's what the condition actually is, how do I write this up? A good agent will be there to figure it out. Or a good agent will say, I don't know. You have a good question. Let me get somebody who can help us out.
Right. Yep.
And get this thing filled out accurately so that we are alleviating any future problems.
Right.
So that the buyers coming in know exactly what they're looking at. Because there's a buyer for every property.
Sure.
Just because your property had a problem, and there's some big ones out there,
Right.
there could be somebody out there that's going to buy it. Just because your house had a problem, or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10,
Yeah.
That's right.
there's somebody that will buy it.
Yep.
All works into the value and the interest of the buyer, right? And I think again, and we're in this market, this seller's market. Months to come, next year, 2 years, you're going to see buyers rely on that seller disclosure even more. Because they are waiving inspections, and that's their choice to do, and there's some legal ramifications to that. But ultimately, they're going to say, "I'm going to go by the seller disclosure." I'm banking that this is accurate. So again, sellers just want to be accurate, honest. It's the best course of action selling the property. You're not going to get more money. You're only going to get more headaches if you say, "Oh, I'm not going to tell them about that problem," or "I'll just leave
You
that
don't
off."
want to hide anything.
That doesn't.
No,
That's not.
doesn't help.
That doesn't solve.
Yeah, that's
in the long run. You over and over. I've seen it. Sellers end up having to fix things, or it creates a headache for them.
that few $100, or even if it's a couple $1,000 that you're going to think you're saving, you have to hire a lawyer because you got sued.
Right.
The retainer's going to eat up whatever money you thought you saved by not disclosing what you should have disclosed.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
do it the right way.
Just do it the right way.
Yeah.
And then let us market and advertise the house property properly. And we'll get you a buyer.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. We sure
And I'm going
will.
to leave you one last thing on disclosure.
Yeah,
is
sure.
realtors have the same obligation to disclose when they know something. So, again, that's where a good, honest agent, just because if the seller says, "Hey, this is the problem, but I don't want to tell the buyer," we have an obligation to disclose it. So you have to, keep that in mind too.
Absolutely. So that question was from Jamie Parsons, and it was a great question.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we
One we've all dealt
answered it.
with.
Yep.
Covered.
So thank you, Jamie, and you're gonna get a call from our producer or a message from our producer, and we will get you that Wawa gift certificate.
I did see a bunch of people sharing.
Sharing is
Oh,
caring,
yes.
right?
Motivated
I saw
them.
people sharing.
Sharing's good.
We'll get some likes.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you want to go over that one more time before I get to what's going down in Boyertown?
As you're watching this show or after the show, actually, we want you to comment and share.
Yeah. Comment and share.
Put your comment in.
You can like
That
too.
gives you a comment gives you an entry to win a gift certificate. If you share the show, that gives you an entry to win the gift certificate. You want 2 entries? Comment and share.
And the gift certificate to
$25 to Gramia's restaurant here outside of Boyertown.
And Jill will tell you.
The baked oatmeal
Is the bomb.
to die for.
There you go.
And they were also a guest on the show, so you can go back on Facebook and YouTube, Glocker Realty and Insurance, and look at that previous episode where we had Gramia's on talking
And
about
you could
the
learn a
restaurant.
little bit about the restaurant before you go to it.
There you go.
And use your gift certificate.
My question for you right now, Jeff,
Yes, hit me.
is
What is
what is going down in Boyertown?
Well, I'll tell you what's going down in Boyertown. You can find out all that information at jeffknowsboyertown.com. And the blog that I post with all that event information is what's going down in Boyertown, just like Matt said. And so this week, it's kind of a slow week for everything because restaurants are shut down.
Yeah.
Bars are shut down for the most part. Indoor seating is shut down, I should say. Be more specific. So, we got a big day coming up, New Year's, which everybody, I think, has been looking forward to.
Right.
You want to bring in a new year. And so that's happening Thursday night. So there isn't the big parties that are happening. New York City isn't having their big bash. But there is still some fun things you can do this week and even on that day. The last ride for the Colebrookdale Railroad is going on New Year's Eve, Thursday at 1 o'clock. They're doing the Snowflake Special Train Ride. I don't think we're going to have any snowflakes.
Doesn't sound.
No, I don't think
maybe
so.
a little rain, but yeah.
It might be
supposed to
the
rain,
rain
yeah.
special, but still, it's a cool ride. It's an awesome ride, Colebrookdale Railroad.
I think we talk about it on every show.
We do, and for a good reason.
It's good. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. So the one thing that I did see, the one place that is having some kind of entertainment, Creekside Sports Bar and Grill, which we actually talked about last episode as well.
Yep.
They're in Limerick, and they're from 6 to 10. They're having the buzzer band in.
Okay.
So you're not ringing in the New Year. It's just a pregame special, I guess. You
Right.
know. But
Well, I think they have to close early.
yeah, I don't know. If
I think they can only go to 8 o'clock.
plus they're outside. I don't know. I guess you could still ring in the New Year outside. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Don't set your fireworks off in the house.
Right.
Right.
And I will be.
Setting them off in the
I
house.
have them ready to go. No, not in the house. Come on, that's crazy.
So there's a couple.
I'm
of
actually
things-
going to go to Creekside Bar to set them off.
Are you
Yeah.
out on the golf course? That's the safest place as any.
So they have music usually at Creekside Sports Bar and Grill has their music outside on the deck or patio, usually Fridays and Saturdays, but they're doing a special Thursday night. Carnival Lights is still going on. If you didn't get all your Christmas stuff in that you wanted, you still got this week to go see the Carnival Lights in Gilbertsville.
Okay.
200,000 Christmas lights on display there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
That's
we got
on Jackson Road. Is that on Jackson?
That is on Jackson.
It's
Yep,
on
at the
Jackson
ambulance
Road, at the-
Gilbertsville
yeah.
Ambulance Service. Yep. And next week, Cast At Glocker, we're going to be live at what is it?
What is it?
Oh man,
There's Holiday Ales.
Ridgewood Winery in
strong.
Bechtelsville. Yeah, Ridgewood Winery. So also, so in my blog, so I had the events happening in the blog, but I also do something else. Whether I'm talking about history of Boyertown, whether I'm highlighting some event that's happening in Boyertown. This week, since it's the new year, I'm talking about the new year, of course, 2021 that's coming up, and I think it's always a good thing to look back in the past when we're looking to the future of the new year.
Yeah.
And so I went through the century of ones, like 1921, 1931,
okay,
1941.
okay,
All
all right.
right. And just kind of picked out some things that happened in each of those years. So should I go over them with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
You like history, right?
I do.
Yeah,
Matt?
I am a history
I have a,
buff.
I have
Are
a
you? Okay.
minor in American history.
There you go.
Lay it
So
on us.
for you drinkers out there, the Bloody Mary was invented in 1921.
1921.
Yeah.
Wasn't Prohibition going on?
I
I
don't-
guess
does that
maybe
matter?
that's why it came out, right?
They needed
could
something
do it in
to
the
cover
morning.
up that
they wouldn't know.
bathroom gin, man. Right?
Right, tomato juice.
Make it palatable.
How much stuff can we put in here?
Yeah, tomato juice kills everything, right? It's funny because it wasn't too long ago that they thought tomatoes were poison anyway, and
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
do you know that the tomato is part of the nightshade family?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is why they thought it was poison.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
Do you
they're
want to
not.
explain what the nightshade family is? Because I don't think everybody knows.
Well, the nightshade is that creeping vine. It's got like a dark berry on it, and it's poisonous.
Okay.
The nightshade plant is
Oh,
poisonous.
okay.
Tomatoes are within that same subspecies
Oh, okay.
of the nightshade plant. They're
I
like
thought you just meant they're a
cousins.
nightshade because they grow
They're
at
cousins.
night. They do.
No, I don't know why they're called that. I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
always thought
either.
they grew at night. I thought my
Maybe.
understanding was that tomatoes grow
No.
at night.
Maybe they do.
Yeah.
So they collect the energy during the day and then grow at nighttime.
Yeah.
That might be true because I think all plants need that day and night.
Yes, you
Situation.
can't.
Yeah, they don't want
My
sun
brother-
all the time.
Yeah.
My brother tested that theory. He put a daylight lamp on tomato plants for all day, for 24 hours a
24
day.
hours. Yeah.
they did not like
They
it.
did not like
They
it.
did not
They need
like
that
it.
rest period.
Yeah.
So maybe that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody who's watching. Prohibition started in 1929.
Oh.
That's from
We were
Pat,
way off.
Yeah.
Pat Salinak.
All right, thank
Our
you, Pat.
assistant to the assistant, Pat Salinak.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay. So, also in 1921, Andy's Candies was founded, but it was Andy's as in ANDY apostrophe S.
Okay.
You know what Andy's Candies are? The chocolate with the mint in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have them
Sure.
at the fancy
So
restaurants.
they originally
Right.
called them Andy's
On
Candies,
your
but
pillow at the hotel.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. I have a liking to those Andy's Candies. They're good.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
about them. The mint, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so when it was first came out, came out as Andy's, as in like a boy's name, which was the owner's name. But he realized that other men weren't going to buy women chocolates with another guy's name on it.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
at least he thought that.
So what year
and so
is
he
this?
changed it to the different spelling of Andes, which is ANDES.
What year was that? I missed that. I'm sorry.
1921.
That's 21 as well.
1921, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, in 1931, the Star Spangled Banner became the official anthem of the United States. More than
Really?
100 years after it was written, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did not know
Did
that.
not know that.
The
What was it before that?
there was no
There just
official
wasn't.
one.
There wasn't
no.
one.
Mm-mm. There was
Okay.
there was ones like the
Like God Bless America
yeah, was
and all that
was
stuff.
used and stuff, but there was no official.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. But God Bless America was definitely mentioned in the thing I was reading.
Got you.
Empire State Building opened in New York City in 1931.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorites because I love myself a chocolate chip cookie. Ruth Wakefield invents the chocolate chip cookie by accident. And actually chocolate chips at the same time. she was mixing a batch of. She had a roadside inn,
Okay.
and she was mixing a batch of cookies for guests when she discovered that she was out of baker's chocolate. So she substituted broken pieces of Nestle semi-sweet chocolate and expected them to melt and absorb into the dough and make a chocolate cookie.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So she tasted what came out, which was what we know as the chocolate chip
Chips.
cookie today. Yep.
And it was good.
It was awesome.
They're
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
my favorite. It is my favorite cookie.
I think it might just be my favorite. It's kind of hard not to like a good chocolate chip
It is
cookie.
really hard,
Yeah.
especially the home-baked ones.
Yeah.
You cannot get a
Do you like them
store-bought that's-
crunchy or do you like them soft?
I like them soft.
I like a little soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
I
you?
don't like them real. Yeah. Not
I'll take them crunchy.
I'll take
though.
them either way.
I'll take them crunchy if they're homemade.
But I do have to agree with you. I do like them a little bit softer.
Yeah.
I like my oatmeal cookies. Definitely, I like those softer.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not turning them
Yeah.
down.
You're splitting hairs there. You know.
And to see how Dutch you are, do you like snickerdoodles?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I'm more Dutch than I ever thought.
If
No,
you
I'm
ain't Dutch, you
serious.
ain't much.
Is that
Oh,
a bumper
yeah.
sticker?
How many times you hear that growing up around here?
lot.
Way too many.
Yeah.
No, we never thought we were Dutch until we started doing genealogy.
Oh.
And then it turns out we're Swiss Germans. My aunt
pretty
or my
Dutch.
grandmother always thought they were English because they weren't Anabaptists.
Uh-huh.
So if you're not a Mennonite or Amish or one of these Anabaptist sects,
Yeah.
they called everybody else English.
Oh, really?
So she grew up her whole life just hearing English,
Yeah.
English. So she thought she was English. No,
No,
they-
not the case.
She was just as Swiss German as they were. Yeah, just went to a different church. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, 1941. The first TV commercial aired on July 1st of 1941. The commercial was for Belova watches and was 10 seconds long and cost $7.
Wow.
The first commercial ever aired.
$7.
TV.
Yeah. And I think it was aired during a baseball game. Cheerios came out in 1941. They were originally called Cheery Oats, but then
I
they
knew
switched
that.
the name. M&Ms were also invented at that time. Do you know why M&Ms were? You have to know this answer. Why were M&Ms invented?
Because they were putting them in army rations,
Right.
and they needed something to keep the chocolate from melting all over the
Melting
place.
hands.
You
Right.
knew it. I knew you'd know it, Matt. I knew you'd know it.
Now, Pat Selnack probably has some old World War II army rations over at her house.
Why?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You never heard this story? Yeah, she had a whole bunch of old sea rations that she opened up and fed to the critters in her backyard. True story.
Pat never ceases to amaze me.
She's got a whole menagerie over there. Yeah. They keep healthy and happy. those
We have to have
animals.
Pat on sometime.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be happy to be on.
Yes.
1951, super glue was invented. And I'm not pulling this from what I read, but I know that it was originally invented to be for surgery.
Oh.
And that's
What was it?
It was originally.
No, I didn't hear the project because Pat was saying
You're
they ate all the old sea rations in preparation for the Y2K. Remember that?
Oh,
everybody
my gosh.
thought that
They're
the grocery
stocking up.
stores
Oh,
were gonna
it's all going to
crash.
shut down.
Yeah, everything was gonna
Missiles were
crash.
going to go off.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
I was just telling my son about this just the other day.
I did go, and that happened. Obviously, that happened on New Year's and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Me and my buddy Brian drove out to Bedford County and stayed out at our hunting cabin
Did you?
that we belonged to. Yeah. Now, we really did want to go hunting and like hang out.
Okay.
You
but-
weren't just stowed away waiting
No,
for the world to
but
end.
it was dual purpose, just in
Right.
case.
Just in case.
Just in case that didn't work
I
out.
told my son the story, and he goes,
we were in the cabin.
my son goes, well, what happened? I said,
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing
No.
happened.
not a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so super glue was invented. I Love Lucy was popular on TV at the time. In 1951, we're talking about. Joe DiMaggio had 56-game hitting streak and did not strike out during the whole 1951 season.
Holy.
He's the man, right?
Jeez.
Holy.
Can you believe that?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Well, they were playing less games. I shouldn't say
come
that.
on,
Like
dude.
I immediately am going to
Dude.
become a sportscaster,
Never
right?
gonna
Like
strike
we're all
Let's
we're
analyze
going to get
this.
into like sports talk radio right now. They played less games,
Okay.
but that's still an impressive stat.
It sure is. 1961, Black & Decker introduced the first cordless power drill, which is the greatest thing on earth because I can't stand extension cords. I hate them.
They're
I
a
hate
pain
'em.
in the neck.
Now you
man.
get anything with a battery.
I know,
on it,
right?
Like any tool, right?
I have a hammer drill sometimes when I'm doing really heavy duty work, and I wish that thing was
Yeah,
cordless,
there's
but it's
enough
not.
power in them.
Yeah.
I have mine's corded too. I have to because there's certain things I have corded still. But man, I hate extension cords. In 1961, Pampers disposable diapers were available for the first time. That's good for the parents out
That was
there.
a game changer for
Absolutely.
parents, yeah.
And then Alan Shepard made the first U.S. space flight in 1961. 1971, Apollo 14 lands on the moon. That is not the great moon landing that we all know. It's just it was just a what do you call that thing that comes down?
Oh, like the
Yeah,
the
the
LEM, the
Lunar landing
Landing
module. There you
Yes,
go.
there you go.
There you go. That's what landed. Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't the first person on the moon in 1971. It's just the first moon landing.
They set that thing down,
Mm-hmm.
and then he launched back off.
Yes.
He didn't get out.
Right.
Is that?
Yeah, I don't think it was manned. Was
no,
it?
this is 61.
This is 71. Wait, when was
No,
it?
Neil
there
Armstrong was on the moon before
so this was
71.
something new. Apollo
14 lands on the moon. Oh, that's not even big news. I'm going to take that off my blog. Yeah, the moon landing was
Was
what
it
year?
the last?
Anybody know?
It might have been the last moon
68 or 69.
landing. Yeah,
Okay.
that might have been the last moon landing in 71.
Not to start anything.
I'm
but
going with that.
Yeah.
I'm going
okay.
with that. Might have been one of the
That's
last
getting
moon landings.
that's getting wiped off the blog. People don't even.
No, but you know what though? It's still. I mean, think about how important that was for science exploration and computing and all that
sure.
stuff. Like
It
we
pushed
have,
us. It pushed us.
we
like,
literally in your iPhone have like 14 Apollo 14s
Yeah.
worth of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably
we do.
more.
We do.
Probably more. Yeah.
And they did it all with like slide rulers and you know, graph paper and shit.
Yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about, slide rule. No. Here's one that I know you guys don't know, and if you do know, I'd be impressed. Barry Manilow, in 1971, wrote the State Farm jingle, "Like a good neighbor, State Farm is here."
Barry Manilow?
Barry
Yeah.
Manilow.
Did you
wrote-
know that?
No.
No, that's
At the
mind blowing.
Copacabana.
Copacabana. In 1971, the voting age of the United States is lowered to 18 from the age of 21.
Yeah.
Walt Disney World, Florida opens officially in 1971.
Okay.
1981, MTV begins. Does anybody know the first video aired on MTV?
Is it Video Killed the Radio Star?
You got
Right?
it. All right, man.
I don't know who sang it. Don't
I-
ask me that.
I don't have that
No.
written down either.
Remember Kurt Loder?
I do remember.
Yeah.
Kurt
He
Loder.
was one of the
He was
first
one of
hosts.
the VJs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the chick? Who was the girl?
If you said it, I would know in a
Oh,
heartbeat, but I can't think of it right now.
We're gonna get
Yeah,
Me Too right
it's
off
something
the air.
weird too. It's not like a normal name. I don't think.
No. Paul Kennedy. Paul Bacon. Society of Bacon. Apollo 14.
If anybody knows that answer, who was the VJ, the girl VJ when?
Well, Paul Kennedy might, because listen to this detailed answer
Oh,
we're
boy.
about ready to get. Apollo 14 was the 8th crewed mission in the United States Apollo program. Hold on, I gotta.
Well, why is it
This
a big
is like
deal?
it was the third to land on the moon, and the first to land in the lunar highlands. It was the last of the H missions,
That's a good answer.
landing at specific sites of scientific interest on the moon for 2-day stays with 2 lunar extra vehicle activities.
I'm still taking it off the blog,
They
Paul.
That's when they
Sorry.
landed the lunar rover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rover. I like
It's
rover.
still up there.
Is it?
They didn't
Yeah, they
bring it
left
back.
it.
It's still up there.
Right.
They left it.
I'm gonna look through my telescope when I get home. See if I can find the rover.
Right.
And that,
Well,
and that flag.
They
that's
probably
flying up
tell
there.
you. I'm sure there's some website, someplace where you could find out where it is,
The
where they did
coordinates
leave
and-
that on the moon.
Yeah.
I think you'd probably need a pretty high powered.
Yeah. No,
Oh, my binoculars won't work. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think your binoculars are going to show
Go
you
pick
where
up the rover.
Lots of people commenting. People are getting people. People are.
any Barry Manilow fans?
Did anybody
that-
come up with was the VJ?
Paul Kennedy,
Who is it?
MTV, Martha Quinn,
Martha Quinn.
Martha
Oh, it was a
Quinn.
normal name.
and
that
Nina
was it though.
Blackwood,
I don't even know that name.
Tanya Costi Kennedy, Nina Blackwood.
Oh, okay. Nina
at these
Blackwood.
people.
She
Look
does
at
a show
Matt.
on Sirius
Matt's got
XM
some
now.
brainiacs in
Yeah.
the family. Man.
Yeah, they know how to use Google.
Yeah. He cut and pasted.
Sorry, I mean,
That's cool.
Paul's like cut,
But they're
paste.
putting their
Hey,
they're
they're
making
out
their
there.
comments.
They're paying
They're-
attention.
They're all vying
See,
for
now-
the $25 gift certificate.
How do you want to buy me breakfast? That's
Yeah, we might have to put on like no friends or
yeah,
family or
disclaimers,
something.
right?
Baked oatmeal, baby. Baked oatmeal. Okay, so where are we at? 1981 we're talking about. The Go-Go's were the first and to date only all-female band to write their own songs and play their own instruments and have their album reach #1 in that year 1981.
Was the only
Wow.
what female band?
Only all-female band that wrote their own music and played their own
Played their
instruments.
own instruments.
Yeah.
Who
And that's to date.
who was the band? Well, Heart.
Yeah, that's not all-female, though.
They're not all female.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
who else was in the band.
No,
Maybe they
I don't.
never
I
made
think,
it to number
I
one.
think Heart had male players
Yeah, I think
on the
so,
other
too.
instruments and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
And then what about? And this is probably after '81, maybe. But remember, Lita Ford had that band
Okay.
because Lita Ford and I believe Joan Jett was in that band too.
Okay.
They had a girl band, but they might not have been.
They didn't get
they
their
didn't
album
get to
didn't hit number one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who
It's a very
who can tell us
specific
that?
fact.
Who can tell us that? Lita
Was it-
Ford's all-girl band.
I didn't know Pat
And I'm
Benatar was
pretty
in any
sure-
other band. Like
No,
any
I didn't
major
say
band.
Pat
Joan
Benatar.
Jett.
I
Joan
said
Jett.
Joan Jett. I'm
didn't-
pretty sure it was Lita Ford and Joan Jett.
I think you're right.
Somebody Google that.
Yeah, you'll get that back. There was a good documentary on Joan Jett. They talked about that. Yeah.
The
you're-
Bangles.
She was in the Bangles?
No.
Oh yeah.
That was the name of the
Yeah, that's
band.
another band.
Okay.
That was the band. The Go-Go's.
Right.
And then there was the
There
Bangles.
was the Bangles. Yeah.
But I don't know if the Bangles necessarily wrote all their own music. I think that was one of these like slicked up studio bands that was put
Yeah.
together by
I think like
the record
Prince or
executives.
somebody wrote music for them.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Because he wrote for a lot of
have-
those bands.
He
at
wrote a
that
lot of
time.
stuff. He
Yeah.
wrote music for Sinead O'Connor. Nothing Compares to You.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah, he like through the 80s and 90s, he wrote a lot of
My,
music.
my brother just texted me Daisy Fuentes. Is that the name of the band?
No, she
No, that's a musician.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what he was referring to. I just figured it was some part of this conversation.
Or was she an MTV?
She
Uh,
was.
she was
She
a
was,
VJ.
but that was
Yeah.
later
Yeah.
on, though.
Yeah.
She was later on.
Right.
I think who was first up was
Martha Quinn?
Martha Quinn
Yeah, she was
and
one of the
Nina
originals,
Blackwood. I
yeah.
think Martha Quinn was like the first.
Yeah.
That was like the first one with like Keith Loader,
There's a
Adam
whole,
Curry.
Right.
there's a whole documentary on MTV, and it's pretty amazing. If you see
I
it
haven't,
scanning
no.
through
There you
something,
go.
you'll
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
What do
Joan
we got?
Jett and Lita Ford were part of the Runaways.
Oh, the
Oh,
Runaways.
the
Runaways.
Okay.
Now that was an all-girl band, but they might not have
Hit
made
number
it to
one,
number
yeah.
one on any of their stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So another thing, in 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor became the first female U.S. Supreme Court justice. I think that was a pretty big deal right then.
Do you know who the first? Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you know who the first black female congresswoman was? Do you know?
I have no idea.
No.
Shirley Chisholm
I don't know
was
that
the
name.
first black female
I don't know that
congresswoman.
name, but that's good information.
Where? What state? What was she?
Now you're
see,
pushing
I-
my limits. I don't know. Michigan? Like, I don't know.
Just gonna
I just
throw
know
that
who-
out there.
I just know who it was.
1991. Does anybody want to guess what was the best picture, best director, best actor, best actress, and best writing for the Oscars?
No.
Won all those. Won all the 5 big ones.
Everything. 91.
Yep, 91. Bring you back.
It won all of them?
All
the
of them.
same movie.
Same movie. Won all the big 5 awards, the top
Platoon.
awards in the Oscars.
No, Platoon was earlier. Platoon was before that.
Was Titanic around then? Or was
No, but that was a good. That's
No,
a good guess.
Titanic's
That was later?
after.
It's a good guess
Titanic's
just
after
for-
91.
Right.
It was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That is a
crazy
good
great
movie.
movie.
That's a pretty edgy movie, though, to win all that
I
stuff.
know,
mean,
right? Yeah, usually it's like
yeah, it's not,
not
like
something
not
that-
for
That was a
everybody.
good movie, though, man.
Yeah.
it was. You might have to go back and watch it.
Well, have you ever seen? That was part of a trilogy. There's another movie called Manhunter that wasn't. It was kind of almost like an underground film.
Yeah.
Manhunter is the prequel to Silence of the Lambs.
It came out
It came out before
before it. Okay.
but it tells that whole story of Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal, yeah.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's another movie
There was another one
that came out afterwards.
something Red Dragon.
Yes, Red Dragon.
Red Dragon. That was
Red Dragon.
had something to do with the story.
So that's the trilogy. That's the trilogy. Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, and Red Dragon. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's big. They won all 5 awards. The release of Nirvana's Nevermind signified the start of the grunge era in
Oh my
1991.
God, I remember when
big
that
album.
came out.
Yeah.
Oh
was
my
huge.
God.
Yeah.
And then you had Pearl Jam came out with 10.
Soundgarden.
right. They were all from Seattle. That
Yeah.
was like that was the spot.
Soundgarden,
Yeah.
and
It was
all
a big
that
explosion
stuff.
from Seattle.
I went down a rabbit hole one day on. It started out on social media. So maybe somebody else, if they have some time off over the next couple of days, you can start here with the Cast At Glocker, and I'll give you a rabbit hole to
All
go
right.
down. Start watching the videos of Nirvana. Remember when Nirvana did MTV Unplugged? That was the big deal. And
Yes.
when Nirvana went on MTV Unplugged, it set records for
Yeah.
like the most watched things. I even remember going over to somebody's house.
Yeah.
Might even been you.
It might have been. I think it was. Like not my house, but with me.
Right,
Yeah.
probably at Newton's.
Yep. No.
And we watched that thing.
Yep.
And then Pearl Jam went on, right? So I started going down this whole thing. So now I'm watching Nirvana. I'm watching Pearl Jam videos. Then, of course, you got Dave Grohl starts Foo Fighters.
Right.
Right? And then goes to Foo Fighters. I spent an entire afternoon. Started with Nirvana, went to Pearl Jam, went to Foo Fighters. Then, of course, you got to throw some Soundgarden in there. I was like watching Dave Grohl cover Soundgarden like crazy.
That's not a
stuff.
bad
No,
afternoon at
it's
all.
not a bad afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm suggesting. You want something to do? If there's not enough to do in Boyertown, get
raining out.
yourself a good 6-pack and go down that rabbit hole.
Get your flannel shirt out.
Your flannel shirt.
I will give you. Yeah, you got.
There's your after. Yeah,
Look, I
right.
already got my flannel shirt. Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, so so I have a suggestion too.
Go ahead.
On that same note, you ever see the documentary Pearl Jam's 20? You know,
No.
Pearl Jam 10 was the album that first came out.
Yeah.
20 years later, they put out a documentary. They had someone follow them
That whole time.
that whole entire time, from the beginning
Holy
all the way
crap.
for 20 years.
Wow.
And it's incredible documentary to watch. So, Pearl Jam's 20. Look for it. Watch it. It's awesome. Okay, where are we? In 1990.
Bridget Petrowskis.
What'd she say?
The Noonans rock. True. I owe Kev a call. But anyway, go ahead.
That's awesome, Bridget. In 1991, New York Supreme Court case Stambovsky versus Akeley, which that part doesn't really matter that much. Also known as the Ghostbuster ruling.
Okay.
You know what this is coming to yet?
Nah.
That court case ruled that the seller must disclose or inform the purchaser of a haunted property.
Oh,
So
wow.
seller must disclose if that property is haunted. Now that
Hold-
this
whoa,
is
whoa,
wait,
whoa,
hold
whoa.
on. So that's in New York City or New York,
Okay.
and I'm going to answer the question that I've been asked 1 million times, I think, as a realtor.
In
And
Pennsylvania.
in Pennsylvania, that is not a law.
No.
Not a law
Right.
in PA.
You don't have to disclose murders, any crime
Anything.
that it's not on the disclosure.
Yep.
And really,
I mean,
what difference does it make?
Well, here's
Unless you
right,
believe
here's
that
okay. No,
stuff.
here's
I
the
guess-
thing though.
I guess
The
that's where
thing
it
in the
comes
court case does the house has to be first promoted as a haunted house. So it's like, you know, if you have ghost hunters come to your house, say, hey, my house is haunted, stuff like that.
where you've created a
You
stigma
created a stigma
about the house.
Yeah.
Then
And
you need to
can't-
disclose it.
Yeah, you need to
Right.
disclose it at that point.
In New York, that's what.
So if
right.
you believe the house is haunted and
Right.
you're doing stuff that makes other people believe that your house is haunted, you must disclose that to the buyer. So it doesn't come
All
down
right.
to whether there's a ghost in the house. It comes down to whether you're
Right.
presenting your house beforehand as a haunted house.
So I could see that would be important because if you had created a bunch of media hype around that house, it's going to attract attention. And people are going to come there. They're going to try to contact the homeowner,
Yeah,
et
knock
cetera,
on your
et
door.
cetera.
Can I come
Knock on your
through?
door, sit outside the property. So I could see how that would be.
It's
That
a
would be
nuisance.
annoying to
Yeah.
somebody. It would be a nuisance.
Right.
Right.
Right?
In the court of law, that's
I don't want to
probably
get
where
into
it
this
goes.
like, do ghosts exist stuff.
That's a whole different show.
But I think now I understand. It's
Yeah.
if you've promoted and created this hype around the house,
yeah.
you have to disclose that.
Yes.
I can understand that.
Right.
I can wrap my head around that.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody might not, somebody doesn't want to have to deal with all that.
Yeah.
And we've dealt with things through the years, and it's not so much the ghost, but if there was a crime there or something,
Yeah.
and we've disclosed it just from the fact of
Hey, you're
hey,
going to
what-
find
what-
out
right.
this
Common
Do you
anyway.
knowledge,
really
yeah, I
right?
would
Do you-
definitely-
and if the buyer doesn't want it, why are we trying to get them into a property they're not going to want? Find
Right.
somebody that doesn't care.
Right.
So it's
There's a
kind of
buyer
erring
out
on
there
the side of
Yeah, there's a
caution.
buyer out there for every house. That's what we talked about earlier.
My
There's a
brother,
buyer.
one of my brother's best friend, he bought a house knowing that there was a man committed suicide in the house. He didn't care the least.
Well, let's
He's
put
like,
it this
whatever.
way. I mean, so we live in an area with a lot of old houses.
Yeah.
Pottstown, Boyertown, Gilbertsville. I mean, there's houses that date back to the early 1700s. There wasn't hospitals. These people, when they got sick, they didn't
Yeah.
go to the
They
hospital.
died in the house,
They
right.
died in the house.
And a lot of times they had the funerals in the house too.
had the funerals in the
Yeah.
houses, the whole 9 yards. So most of these old houses,
You just
people
gotta
have
assume
died
something.
there. Yeah, you got to assume.
Right.
They weren't hauling
And if you're
these
scared of ghosts, assume they're haunted too. Right? Are you saying that?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm
man.
putting
That's,
words in your mouth.
That's for somebody else to decide. Man. I'm not getting into that.
But
I'm,
if someone's scared of ghosts,
I'm cynical. I'm cynical. That's all I'm saying. I'm cynical.
Right? Okay, so where are we at? 1991. We're almost there. We're almost to the present time. 2001. The iconic iPod was first released,
All
which
right.
I think everybody and their neighbor had an iPod at some
I did
point.
not.
You never had an iPod. You
Never.
never owned an iPod,
Never.
Matt. You're from a different
He
world.
stuck to his CDs all
Yeah.
through those
I did.
I'm gonna rock my CDs.
I did.
So that
Why
was
make
like-
it easy?
I download some of the CDs onto my computer so I could listen to them on the computer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then remember the MP3 players.
Well, that's what an iPod is.
Yeah, but that's an Apple product.
Yes.
I never had an iPod. I had whatever the non-Apple.
The other
I
ones.
did have that. I did have several of those things.
Sony was actually the originator. Sony was the
Oh,
originator
really?
of the
I didn't know
of
that.
the MP3 player.
Okay.
But just the iPod took off because they made it simple. The Sony's version, I think, was extremely difficult and not
They were
simple
thinking
at all.
backwards, all these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Apple made it
user-friendly?
clean.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So So also in 2001, Pizza Hut made a delivery to the International Space Station.
What?
They paid Russia $1 million to deliver a pizza to the International Space Station.
Just so they could say
That's
they were the
advertising.
first.
Hey, it's what is it? $1 million, $2 million for a couple seconds in the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, right.
I think that's
There
a-
you go.
And we're
That's
still
probably
talking
right.
And look,
about
we're
it.
talking about it
Yeah.
today, right?
Right.
Although I hate
worked.
Pizza Hut pizza.
I don't like their pizza.
No, it's awful. It seemed like it used to be better.
There's not many around anymore.
But if you own a Pizza Hut, if you own a Pizza Hut franchise and want to come on the show, email Jen at
And then I'll
Glocker.com.
like
We'll come
it.
in. We'll come in.
endorse your
No,
pizza.
I'm not promising we'll like it. We could just talk about it.
We'll forget to mention that we despise Pizza Hut pizza.
We'll give you an opportunity.
Yeah, we'll give you opportunity. Make your case.
Yeah. Come on. Okay. 2011. OMG and LOL were added to the Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh, kid.
Yep. Okay, here's a trivia question for you.
And just for everybody, LOL means laugh out loud, and OMG means oh my God. Did you
Or,
get
oh
that,
my
Mom?
gosh, if you don't want to say it that way.
My mom's watching.
Yeah,
She
she's
might
the
not
only
have known
person
that.
that I think you have to explain that to. And even
Little
her,
message out there.
Mrs. Green, I don't think you needed that explanation. Okay, does anybody want to guess who? Okay, let me see how to word this question.
Jen said she never owned an iPod either.
Well, shame. I still own 2 iPods today. I still use them for parties and stuff like
There
that.
you
I
go.
throw them on my
Classic.
sound system. Yeah.
Right.
Nobody knows.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah, right. I put my phone on, but then it might ring, and that bust
Right.
up the party, and everybody would leave. It'd be horrible. Okay, who wants to guess what company was the largest tire producer by numbers in 2011? Who made the most tires?
Bridgestone.
Rubber tires. Bridgestone is your guess?
Lego.
Lego is the answer.
What?
Look at this guy.
I've heard
That's
that
why
one
he's my
before,
broker
yeah.
right there. Because
See,
he
I
knows
didn't-
it all.
I
It
didn't
was a
think
trick
outside the
question.
box
Yeah.
enough. That was a trick question.
It was a trick question.
Matt picked it up.
Also,
That's why
in
we
two-
collaborate
That's
on
right.
stuff.
Also in
See all
2011,
angles.
Snapchat app became available, and everybody knows Snapchat these days. I don't personally use it, but
The
I
kids
sure
do.
know what it is.
My kids are on Snapchat like all day.
I thought somebody bought up Snapchat, so I said in my house, like out loud, I said, "Is Snapchat even around anymore?" And my kids, who don't even have phones or anything like that, they're like, "Of course, everybody has Snapchat."
No, I think for the most part,
I thought someone bought it out though.
it might have been sold or traded. I don't know. I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
I do know that like my kids, 16, 17, 18,
Right.
that's their primary
That's their
platform.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Snapchat.
So that was 2011. now, and then we'll see what happens in 2021. But three more things I want to bring up because they were kind of like astonishing or very interesting to me when I was looking through all this.
Reach me
research.
a beer, sir.
We're going to
What?
three.
We go to three more.
You're getting a festive beer. Okay. Three more, and then we're good. Okay, so this is just blows my mind. Until 1961, put that date in your head. 1961.
Okay.
All YMCA's required swimmers to swim naked. Until the rule was changed in 1961 when a school board petitioned that the boys were able to wear swim trunks. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
insane to me.
It could be. Our video camera just went out. We reached our hour and a
limit.
half.
All right.
But that's fine.
All right,
They
well,
can still
two
hear
more.
us.
Two more.
Oh.
Yeah,
And then we're done.
people could still listen.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just going to
this
expand.
is Beatles fans out there. George Harrison, he plagiarized the Chiffon song "He's So Fine" with his song "My Sweet Lord." I listened to the two. Absolutely. I got it. I just listened to the Chiffon song and I got it right away.
I had heard that
Yeah.
before.
Okay.
Well, that was
So-
like Led Zeppelin just a
Led
couple
Zeppelin
of
did
years
the
ago.
whole-
Got hit with that big
Whole bunch of them.
suit.
Yeah.
They won,
blues
though.
songs.
They won.
Really?
And I listened to it. Howard Stern did a big thing on it.
Right.
And he played some of that music side by side.
Yeah,
and
it's-
I was
it's
like,
r-
how the hell did Led Zeppelin win that lawsuit?
Yeah.
They totally ripped those
Better
people
lawyers,
off.
I guess.
Better lawyers.
That's
Yeah.
that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. And I think that one lawsuit lasted like 16 years or something.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So they just
They just
they just
wrote it
It
out.
was a battle of an attrition.
Yeah.
Who could
Right.
hang in there the longest?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shame because they did steal songs for
They,
sure.
oh, they totally stole shit.
And I love Led Zeppelin, but
I do
still.
too.
Yeah.
I listened to them, but
Yeah.
they stole.
But
some
yeah,
shit.
I just listened to the Chiffon song and I'm like, and I know the song, but I listened to it and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, it's
Right.
same song. But and then so you can do that on your own time. Everybody that's watching or at this point listening, because we know that our screen is off. And the last little fact I have here, the scene in the movie Hook. Have you seen the movie Hook? With
Robin Williams is
Robin
in
Williams,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a takeoff on Peter Pan.
Right.
Right.
So there's a couple kissing on a bridge while Tinkerbell flies over, which Tinkerbell is played.
This is.
All right.
This is okay. I'm not even going to ask you. I'm going to
For
tell
me,
you.
it's obscure. Somebody else.
This is obscure, but wait till you hear this.
Okay.
Tinkerbell's flying over and drops fairy dust on this couple kissing, and the couple kissing was George Lucas and Carrie Fisher.
What?
Yeah, I mean it was truly
really?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George Lucas
and they
Princess
started
Leia
floating in the air
were
and everything.
smooching.
Yeah,
Were they?
I mean for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. And they
So
were
I thought
adults that like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because Hook came out in the '90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought they just, I guess they just
sounds
thought
like,
it'd be.
that sounds like somebody lost a bet at a party, and I'm like, okay, you got to be in this movie.
Like
Well,
it's
was
got to
that-
be a George
was
Lucas
Hook
film, I
a
assume,
Lucas
right?
film?
That's got to be right.
Had to, or
Maybe.
he had to have some part in
Some
it.
connection
He
to
put
it.
money in it or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But
What
how?
was that?
I mean, for Star Wars fans and just
Yeah.
people in general, I think I thought that
Yeah,
was
they'll be going
super
back
interesting.
watching that movie.
Yeah,
I might have to.
I
go
think
look
we
it
have
up.
Hook
Yeah.
at home, and I think I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah.
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 I'm catching up on my Mandalorian episodes.
Oh man, yeah, I'm only 3 in for this season, but
I think
we will
we're
be
up to 4 or 5.
cool.
So we're
I
about.
heard it's really good the whole season,
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yep.
but big ending. I already heard. I don't know what.
I
it
don't
is.
know.
I
Don't say
know.
anything.
No, I don't know what
No
it is.
spoiler
I
The
don't want to
person
know.
who told me just said it's a great ending and kind of puts things together.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but anyway, so yeah, go to Jeff Knows BoyerTown.com. Look for what's going down in Boyertown. That's my blog. You can learn more. I just did some quick ones here, but there's more information about what's happened over the last century, and there's also more events that are happening in and around Boyertown. So
You could get really crazy and go back to like 1811. 1821.
Yeah, you can do that on your own time because I had enough. I had enough with just going back one.
No, you
century.
found a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It kicked off almost 25 minutes, half hour full of conversation.
I wasted that much time.
No, and we gave people a whole bunch of other ideas of things that they could do.
Yeah,
Go back
absolutely.
and listen to the old MTV stuff and
Yep.
grunge music. That was awesome,
Yep.
dude.
Right.
That was great.
I love the grunge era. I love 1990s
Well, that
because I'm a '90s kid.
Yeah, that was when all of us were coming up,
Yeah.
man, right? Like we were
Right.
old enough to like go out and
Do whatever
do
we wanted.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. So listen, man, this is coming down. This is
This
a good
is it.
show. Thanks for coming out.
This is the
Thanks
last one for the
listening.
year. We'll
The
see.
last.
We're gonna come back in
2021's
in
right around the corner.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 days.
That's
Last
exciting.
show of 2020, the Cast at Glocker here at Glocker Realty and Insurance. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube.
Great.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
If you comment and share, you get a chance to win a $25 gift card.
Which will be picked tomorrow at random.
Miss Pearson won our $10 Wawa gift card for asking a realtor.
Yes.
Don't forget
One
that.
question. Now I got some free coffees, some hoagies.
Whatever.
Yep.
That comes out on Tuesday. Keep your eye on our website, Glocker Realty Insurance, on Tuesdays. Ask a realtor. Sign up for $10.
That's right.
Can't get any. If you want to be a realtor or you want to come over to Realty, give
Or have
Matt
questions.
Kennedy
Yeah.
a call.
Come in. We'll have a conversation. Yeah.
Matthew at Glocker.com.
That's right.
It's pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Pretty straightforward. We keep it simple.
Yep.
Matthew at Glocker.com. All right, let's break it down. This is
Okay.
the Cast at Glocker. I am Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube by searching the same. Matt Kennedy is our broker and partner. Glocker Realty and Insurance.
And insurance. Yeah, we did talk too much about insurance, but we'll get to that.
You're an insurance broker as well.
I do have my insurance license as well. Yep.
Matthew at Glocker.com for all of your real estate and insurance needs. Jeff, tell us who you are.
I am Jeff Frederick. You can find me anywhere on social media at Jeff at Glocker. That's it. Just look up, Google Jeff at Glocker, and you will find me on all social media sites that are important. Because I'm not on all of them. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Thanks for tuning in. See us next Wednesday. We're going to be traveling to the winery.
Ridgewood Winery in Bechtelsville. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live there, and it's going to be we're going to learn a lot about wine, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, have a good conversation.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to the Cast at Glocker. Thanks for checking us out live. Have a good night.
And see you
Yeah.
then.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Happy
it.
New Year.
Yeah. that's
Happy
great. Happy New Year.
New Year.